In this week of See No Data Topmo, we'll be finishing this season, and I also have an announcement to make. There's probably not going to be a top 5 of the previous year, because in case if you've forgotten or haven't heard about it, RPC broke, and so most of the materials were lost, and honestly speaking, we can't be fuck tracing back a lot of things. Meh. So, Kaiju 8 is a 12-episode action anime of a genre that's kinda rare these days, Attack on Titan clone, though I guess that sort of title is sort of demeaning. Oh, I know, let's call them military fantasy, because though they may not ostensibly deal with the military, it sure as shit glorifies that militaristic structural attitude to life and shit. So, in this world, kaijus exist. Kaijus, for those who don't know, is the now accepted term for giant monsters from Japan, and so since kaijus exist, there needs to be a way to deal with said kaijus. Enter the Defense Force, a Japanese military regiment that is designed to specifically deal with giant fuck-off monsters. Our hero is Kafka Hibino, who is part of the cleaning crew that has to deal with the aftermath of the kaiju extermination, but in his heart of hearts he always wanted to become a part of the the Defense Force, yes. And after failure he gave up, until Kafka ate a bug and turned into a kaiju himself. Now he's ready to become the Spec Ops member he always wanted to be, and that's pretty much it. And it's not that bad. Like Fire Force or any other of these animes, it's a fun story about a man who pees from his nipples, liked by children, has a young student that, as you can see, clearly respects him, and who in his civilian form respects the fuck out of women, slowly getting trust of his comrades and arms and a general feeling of fulfillment in life, all while sticking to his principles. The best parts about this anime for me was that they really managed to sell you on this feeling of militaristic camaraderie people have when they are in a functioning military unit together, stuck fighting to the death against an enemy that hates them and wants them dead. That's why I'm coining military fantasy as a term for this subgenre. It doesn't strictly glorify the GSDF, but it does glorify the aspects of military in a way that would force some young impressionable kids to enlist, or at the very least be one of those small reasons why they would enlist. That's the beauty of soft propaganda. And finally, Dungeon Meshi. Oh, Dungeon Meshi. Now this is an anime for fine, gentle people, dare I say. In fact, it's one of those animes that I really have nothing much to say about, because, well, anything positive and negative that could be said about it has already been said. I personally think it's a good anime. Yes, only the most controversial opinions on this channel. Stay tuned for my thoughts on the American politics in about 5-6 episodes from now. It is in many ways an anime that has been born from a combination of favorable circumstances. First of all, it's a 24-episode anime that fully utilizes its format for the best. Then it's a Trigger anime, and for all of my multiple gripes with Trigger as an animation studio, credit where credit's due, they have a talent for adapting stories that aren't their own in a way that's both respectful to the source material while also having fun with it. And finally, it's the source material itself, a relatively famous and well-liked manga about making food in a dungeon created by an author that genuinely likes fantasy and treats it with respect and veneration. The anime really is a lightning in a bottle if you think about it, and it's very much so shows that being a genuine modern fantasy is very rare, both in Japan and in the West as well. Anime like this, in a way, is the main reason why a lot of people in the West prefer anime to Western animation. Western animation, as is many of the things in the West nowadays, is seemingly going back to the days of the comic code, where people can't say the word fuck on the internet, not because of any governmental pressure, but because the advertisers and payment processors will refuse to work with them. But I digress. Basically, Delicious in Dungeon is a very entertaining modern fantasy show about cooking in a dungeon. It's a strong show, but I wouldn't watch it if you're sick and tired of the cooking show tropes, because that's pretty much the point of it.